Hello, and welcome to this HelloID Service Automation Product Update video for March 2020. We'd first like to give you an overview in a PowerPoint presentation and then demo the new functionalities. So let's start with the PowerPoint. The first item we have added is that you can now pass field information to a service automation form via a URL parameter. This is helpful if you want to open a form with specific information set via the URL. You can use this, for example, as part of the provisioning process in HelloID. Suppose an account is created by the provisioning process and you want to give the manager the option to add or remove specific group memberships. Now you can include a URL to a group membership form in the new account created, and then an email will be sent to the manager upon creation of the account. The really nice thing is that the new created account is pre-selected. We will demo this new functionality after the PowerPoint. We've also updated a couple of components with the option to pre-select. We have done this for a grid, for the radio button, for the multi-select, and for the dropdown. If you have multiple items, for example, in the grid, you can pre-select one row and help the end user. We've also been working on multiple new API options. You can now start a product request via the API. This is useful if you offer one form with multiple options to request different products. Every product might have a different workflow associated with it. Now you can handle this from one form. We will also be demoing this functionality. Next, we have the option of creating all the forms and underlying layers via the API. Then, if you want to enroll or start a completely new HelloID portal, you can create a full set of forms straight from a script evoking the APIs. This is helpful for consultants doing multiple HelloID installs. So the API now supports the creation of a form, data source, product, and service desk form. We are still missing creation of a task and managing the HelloID variables. We're not going to demo this new functionality in this release, but instead we'll demo it in the April release, because then we'll have the whole set of all the API sets available to automatically create all the front components and product components in the HelloID portal. So let's demo the new functionalities. The first option we'd like to show you is that you can pass input parameters to a form by URL. We have a group membership form, and now the form for search for user is empty, but we can extend the URL with the keyword form user and add the value cheered S. We are now searching for cheered S, and now you can see that the URL is passing the value into this text box. This is interesting because you can easily connect this, for example, to user provisioning. Next, we have a new onboarded email that is sent to the manager, Amir Atkinson. This email is created by HelloID Provisioning and includes a link to a HelloID Service Desk form. So here we're using the new feature to pass URL parameters to the form. The link includes the new onboarded user, Dan. So as a manager, we don't have to look up that new user, and we can immediately start making modifications to the group memberships. This is a really powerful feature, and it gives you more options to connect provisioning with the HelloID forms. Let's briefly show you how to configure this option. You go to a form, and then we'll search for group membership. We're making a connection with the Search for User box. This is new. The Make Component Dependent was already available on Other Field, but now it is also available on URL Query Parameter. And we can specify what the keyword should be in the URL connecting to this text box. The mechanism we just showed you is the end result. Next, we've also added some default selections to a couple of components, and we have a form to demonstrate all the modified components. So we have created one form with all the default selections already in it. You can see the default selections form here. The support department in the grid is being pre-selected. Support is being pre-selected in the radio button, also for the dropdown. We have multiple options, but support is being pre-selected, and in the multi-select support, it is pre-selected as well. So let's show you quickly how to do that. So here is the option where default selection is active, including which column determines the default selection for what row in the data source. Let's switch over to the data source. The data source departments is a simple static data source. Let's look at the default column values. These are all false, and this one is true. Let's make a modification. We update this one to true. Save, and let's change this to false. So, development is now true and support is false. This will change the default selection. We go back to the form, refresh, and now you can see that development is being pre-selected and support isn't anymore. Again, you can see that default selection is turned on. It's based on data source on demo departments, and the column for the selection is default. You can see multi-select here, so if you have multiple default values, then you will have multiple selections here. For the grid and others, it will choose the first one that comes across. So again, let's update the data source. Set this to true. And if we do a refresh, it still says development, since it is the first one, but in multi-select, it will also show support as a default option. On to our last option, and that's that you can request multiple HelloID products from another form. We believe this is a very simple but powerful mechanism, so let's first show you the result. We're set here as a manager, and as a manager we have a form, and in the form we can select a user. We selected Dan. And now what we can do is multi-select. So basically these products we're selecting are HelloID products, and perhaps with auto-approve or multiple step approval. And if we do this as the manager, we will request SAP and Visio as HelloID products for this user. Instead of searching and selecting multiple products from the generic product over tab, we can use this single form. Let's start this. We're doing SAP and Visio. Now let's switch over to Dan. So here we're logged in as Dan, and if we do a refresh, you will see that the products are both requested by the manager Amir and that they are pending approval. So it's actually just following the approval process for those HelloID products. The way we're doing it is by evoking and excluding the API call. If we hit refresh, you will see that it has been approved because Amir is the approver, and of course it automatically approves because Amir was requesting it. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.